Hello, my name is Tracy Allen, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Hello and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. It's kind of been a long day. I've been doing several things in the kitchen, and so Ron's going to help me out tonight with supper. And we're going to do some grilled ribeyes, and this is really Kansas City is known for their barbecue and their steaks and those kinds of things, and we're lucky enough to live close by, but it was a prime location as far as those things were concerned, but partially because in Kansas and then part of Missouri, Kansas is the third largest cattle ranch region, and Missouri has several stockyards and those things there too. So steaks are common. So I am doing ribeyes tonight, and I have two nice, well marbled ribeyes, and you can make your own steak rub or seasoning by combining a half teaspoon each of salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika. So a half teaspoon of each one of those. Or you can find a steak seasoning that you really like and use a couple teaspoons of those. Like Montreal steak seasoning is really good. We like Kinder's. Jack Stack Barbecue makes a great one, which is Kansas City again. So I'm using Jack Stack, but Montreal works super well. So I'm going to Ron's going to grill in about 20-25 minutes, but I'm going to take the seasoning and rub both sides of the steaks down and then let them set at room temperature for about 20 minutes to let that seasoning kind of take hold. Then we're going to heat the grill up to about 450 so it gives a good sear to the steaks. And we're going to grill those for 3 or 4 minutes per side. You want an internal temperature of about 145, 155, depending on how well done you like your steak. So when we grill our steaks though, as soon as they reach the temperature that we want, the internal temperature that we want, and we like ours medium well to well, which I know a lot of people think isn't the prime area to do steaks or temperature to do steaks, but when it gets to that heat, when we remove them, we're going to add about a half a teaspoon of soft butter to each one, and let that melt in, and that will kind of relax that, and then we're going to let them set for just a minute before we actually start cutting them up. But first we need to season them, and like I said, you want a couple of teaspoons on each steak, and this will do about 2 pounds of steak, maybe a little bit more, but you just want to rub those in well. And then do the other side. You don't ever add the barbecue sauce till it's the very last of when you're cooking your steaks or whatever, because it will burn. The sugars in the barbecue sauce burn pretty easily. Okay. So now we just need to let this sit about 20 minutes, heat our grill to 450, get that nice sear on them and our internal temperature that we want. Add the butter, and then we're ready to enjoy them with a baked potato, a salad, a vegetable, whatever. Okay, so those are grilled ribeyes that we'll get started. Okay, the grill's nice and hot. So it's time to put our ribeyes on and let them cook to an internal temperature of 145 to 155. Just depends on how well done you like your steaks. So our steaks are off the grill. Put the pats of butter on them. We'll let them set for 5 minutes, and then they'll be ready to eat and enjoy. Hello everyone and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I have been hungry for some chocolate all day long. So I thought, well, this is silly. Go in and make yourself something. So I decided to come in and make some peanut butter Butterfinger cookies. And so I'm going to share that recipe with you. And you definitely, for this one, want your trash bowl out because you'll have some eggshell. You'll have the wrappers from your candy bars and several other things. So your butter wrappers, all those. So a trash bowl comes in handy, and mine's full from it. So, and there's a good reason. But I took 3/4 cup of soft butter and I beat that up until it was nice and creamy. And now to that, I'm going to add 2 different sugars. A 1/2 cup of regular sugar, granulated, and a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And I'm going to beat this for 2 minutes. Now that I've creamed my sugars into my butter for a couple of minutes, I'm going to go ahead and add some other ingredients. I want 1 cup of creamy peanut butter that I'm going to mix in. So definitely not a cookie if you have an allergy. So these won't go to some of my grandkids, obviously. I have 1 egg that I'm going to put in. Get some of that peanut butter off the spoon. And 1½ teaspoons of vanilla goes in there as well. Now I want to just mix these up. Now, when I originally found this recipe a while back, it said to do something weird. It said to take your flour, and I have 1½ cups of flour, and to sprinkle that over the top of your peanut butter mixture, and then to take your soda and your baking powder and your salt, which I have a 1/2 teaspoon of soda, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and to sprinkle that over the flour, mix those together on top of the peanut butter, and then mix them in. To me, it always has made more sense to mix my dry so that that baking powder and soda get well mixed and you don't come up with that bitter flavor if you get in a bite of that. And then I will put it over my mixture. And I just want to mix this enough to get it incorporated. No dry. Okay. Now I'm done with my mixer because the only other ingredient I have are my Butterfingers. And the recipe calls for 16 ounces of Butterfingers. Well, of course, our Dollar General didn't have any regular size Butterfingers, and it would be about 3 or 4 Butterfingers. So I got the Butterfinger bite-sized ones, and I chopped those up. And you can use all of those 16 ounces, or you can use a portion of it, whatever you want, even though it calls for the 16 ounces. And if you've never chopped up a Butterfinger with that crispy center, it is kind of a different experience. So I'm going to fold those in, and then if I want more, I'll add more. And these are going to be covered and put in the refrigerator. And you need to at least refrigerate for 15 minutes. If you can go up to an hour, that's even better. But you want to refrigerate them for just a little while, at least. A few more of my Butterfingers. And these won't go to waste. We can use them on top of ice cream if I don't use them here. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to add. So I was probably an ounce or 2 less than the 16. But as you can see, I have a lot of Butterfinger in there, and that'll bake up nicely. So I'm going to cover this and refrigerate it, and then I'll come back and show you. So we've chilled our cookie dough, and I preheated my oven to 350, and so now we're ready to form it into the cookies. And we're going to bake these in that 350-degree oven for about 10 minutes. Then when they come out, they need to go ahead and stay on the cookie sheet and cool for about 5 minutes before you take them off the cookie sheet, because they will continue to bake a little after they come out of the oven. And I'm using my medium size scoop because of the pieces of Butterfinger. You can't use the small scoop very well. Okay, we're going to go ahead and bake these, and I'll show you when we're done. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.